I'm Scott Fishman.
I'm John Dwoskin.
And this is the 7-Minute Salesman.
Welcome, everybody. Fish, good morning.
Good morning, John.
Well, this is a pretty exciting day because this is our season 13 and 100th episode.
Wow. Yeah. Officially 100, guys.
It's our bar mitzvah season.
Yes.
And I thought it would be a great way to kick off this season, this episode, with an article that you recently wrote that I thought was great. It's an article that you wrote for Arizona Lender, and I think for people starting out, not only the year and it being January, and if you're listening to this and it's not January, it's still relevant. I think it highlights so many important things for salespeople, and I want to kind of dive into it. And in the article, which I'm assuming we'll link from somewhere.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. One of the things you talk about in your article that you wrote is the blue suit and the analogy of the blue suit. And I think it's worth educating our 7-minute community on what that is.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, it's sales 101, right? The blue suit analogy. If a guy wants a blue suit, give him a blue suit. Don't confuse it. And that's something that we teach. On day one, whenever you and I work with someone that we're coaching, whenever I bring on a new salesman or salesperson to our team, we talk about blue suit. If you confuse them, you lose them. So just give them what they want, because trying to shove something else down their throat doesn't always work. And if you think about where you're going with that, it makes perfect sense. Like you go in, you wanted a blue suit, you leave with a blue suit, everyone's happy. But at the end of the day, that can pose some problems for sure.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because I think sometimes the blue suit analogy can work, and sometimes it can't work, because as a salesperson, we need to really open up our eyes and be a little bit more intuitive than sometimes the person that we're helping, which means we need to know which options we need to provide them. So how do we, in your article, you kind of spell some things out, but talk about just the idea of options.
Right. Well, the reason that this came up is, if you think about it, and in my industry, I do mortgages, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lender on every corner. You can't turn on the TV without seeing another commercial for another bank or mortgage lender out there. So it's all about price, and you have one product. People usually want the same thing. The average American wants a 30-year mortgage. It's it is what it is. So if we're all offering the same thing, and we have very similar offices, and we all kind of look the same, we all kind of drive the same cars, we all do the same stuff, what differentiates you from, and I said that kind of funny, what differentiates you from your competition?
Yeah.
If you're just selling the same product, then it really comes down to price, right? And at the end of the day, just coming down to price hurts our margins. And if you're working on margin, then think about, you might make a little bit less money. So what can we do to differentiate ourselves without just, slashing the bottom line?
Yeah. And so what are some of those things? I agree with you. I mean, to me, especially in this decade, right, we're talking, which is crazy to think about, because I was born in 1972, so it was easy to kind of be like the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. And I was talking about my kids with this the other day, that it's hard to tell, like, when you enter a new decade, how things slowly change. But like in the early 80s, things were different than the 70s and the 90s. And so and the reason I bring this up is because things change so subtly, and then all of a sudden you wake up and they've really changed.
Right.
And so when adding value to a client, sometimes it's so subtle, but the client understands and picks up on the differentiators.
Right.
And it's so important to add more value today than ever before, because I think in many industries, Fish, not just yours, mine too, you can be viewed as a commodity so easily.
Right.
And so how do you add value and differentiate yourself?
Well, not only with service, I mean, service is great, but in order to get to that service level and show them the service you can provide, you have to differentiate in another way as well. And one easy way that I find is to offer options. Real simple.
Yeah.
And there's a book that you and I have referenced a couple times. It's called Predictably Irrational. And it's an amazing study, this guy, Dan Ariely, and he shows all these different examples of ways where people are steered psychologically into making a decision that he wants them to make, or the decision that the company wants them to make. So if you think about what...
Kind of like when we worked at Ruby Tuesday and there was a contest, if you ever sold them in college, the BCS, broccoli cheese soup, you push the soup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So when you think about what we're doing here, if we're talking about blue suit, it's the easy way to do it, right? So if someone comes in and they want a blue suit, great. Let's show them the blue suit, but let's show them a couple other options. And I want to start... One major thing, one preface here is that any option that you're offering your buyer or your client should be good for them. It should not be something that rips them off, puts them in a bad way, you're tricking them into. You should be offering them 3 options, and all options should make sense.
100% I agree with you. I mean, your intent has to be clean and it has to be pro-client.
Right.
Yeah.
So... doing the blue suit analogy and continuing along this lines, if you came in and I was selling you a blue suit, the first thing I would do is show you the blue suit. But I would poo-poo it. I would make it very simple. John, here's the blue suit you want. This looks like it's your size. We just measured you. Everything looks great. But there's something I want to show you that I think you might be interested in. Please listen to me for a moment and just understand that if you just want the blue suit, I'm fine with that. But I do want to show you something else. And I'm going to pull out an amazing gray suit. And I'm going to bring it out. I'm going to show you, hey, this is going to go with more things. It's going to match the shoes that you told me you already have. It's going to match that tie you told me you already had. This is an amazing suit. I want to show it to you. So I'm now showing you a gray suit. I'm putting it on, showing you in the mirror, hey, this looks great as well. I know full well that you wanted a blue suit, which means your wife probably told you wanted a blue suit, or your girlfriend, or whoever gave you the idea of the blue suit, or you need a blue suit for work because you already have a gray suit. But I'm showing you an amazing gray suit.
Can I jump in for 1 second? You know, as to the new 7-minute listener, somebody may be listening to this and say to themselves, well, that sounds salesy. And I just want to kind of diffuse that, because it's not that it's not salesy. Well, one, you're a salesperson, so in a way it is salesy, but it's about you as the salesperson knowing more than your client knows and being able to expand their thoughts a little bit.
Right.
And so you're not, if you're just an order taker, then that's not a salesperson. A salesperson is thinking for their client and providing them options so they can, the same level of thinking that got you to where you are isn't going to get you to where you want to be. We talk about that as far as your business. It's the same thing when you're dealing with clients that are walking in the door. It's our responsibility to expand their mindset.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They don't know what's in stock. They just
Correct.
know that what they wanted when they walked in the door.
Or what they saw on TV, or what somebody told them, and this and the other. Right.
Exactly. So now I've showing you the gray suit. In theory, the gray suit should be price-wise similar to the blue suit. So now really you're not operating on price. You're showing a contrast by showing a different color suit. Same cut possibly, same price, just a different color. So now in your head, I've put that out there. You're kind of thinking, yeah, I still want the blue suit. So now here's where I'm going to show you one more contrast. I'm going to show you a custom tailored blue suit. And the reason I'm doing that is it's a little bit different suit. It's going to be custom fit for you. So now I can sell that aspect of it. There's more benefits. There's more features, but it's also going to come with a price. So now I'm showing you the same color suit that you asked for, but I'm showing you now one that might be a little bit more expensive, might be a little bit more bespoke. It might be something that is maybe a little bit out of your price range, might be a little bit out of your league, but I'm showing you that. Right. So now instantly what's going to happen is you're going to narrow it down to 2 options. It always happens. So either you're not going to want to spend the extra money for the custom suit, or the gray suit's going to be out of the equation. So right then and there, you're going to kind of just on your own kill one of those options. So now when we have 2 options left, John, what do we have?
Just one.
Right. We have a slot close.
Right.
All right. So now we have 2
I just want to say
options.
one thing before you talk about that. It's about also the power of choice. And the person not even feeling sold because they are coming up with they're making the decision. You're helping them make different assumption sets of what they may or may not like, but they ultimately make a decision. So they're actually more fulfilled when they leave because they have, they had somebody who helped them with their thinking.
Right.
Yeah.
We're leading them to the right decision.
Correct.
With certainty. We're not selling them on anything. Again, it doesn't matter which one they choose. At the end of the day, conceivably you're going to make the same amount of money no matter what you sell. Maybe the more expensive suit, there might be a higher margin, maybe not. But at the end of the day, you're going to make a sale. You're going to win no matter what. They're going to win because they're going to get what they want. So now that we've narrowed it down, you have the forced choice clothes. Very simple, John. I know you said gray is definitely not up your alley because you already have one. Did you want the custom tailored suit or did you want the off the rack? Either one will fit you fine.
Yeah.
We've got a tailor right downstairs. We could tailor it right now.
Yeah.
So now we have a close. We've gotten right to a close there. We've let the buyer make the decision. We've created value because we've given them the options. We've shown that we actually give a shit versus just giving them a blue suit because we didn't want them just to make a decision based on the blue suit, thinking they wanted a blue suit. We wanted them to actually see that they do indeed want that suit.
One of the things I want to point out that you were talking about is at the end when you actually ask for the sale and put out some additional options. I think that's where I'd like to see the 7-Minute community raise their level of courage in 2020 and this decade, which is if you want to double your business, double your asks. If you want to triple it, triple them. And we need to ask for business. And there's nothing wrong with asking for the business as long as, Fish, like you were saying, the integrity is there, the intent is there, and it's very client-centric. But that is really, really important. And
Absolutely.
So, a lot of times I think salespeople get to the end and they don't want to ask because they feel, quote unquote, salesy when really you're just working on behalf of your client.
Right. And it's at the end of the day, when we talk about something like this is, a sales process that we just went through. But when you think about it, you're earning the right to close. A lot of times when we don't feel comfortable closing or we have that fear of closing at the end, it's because we didn't earn it. So Always earn your close. If you don't feel comfortable and you haven't earned it, you know what you need to do? Something crazy, John. You need to earn it.
Yeah. No,
So
absolutely.
Go ahead, offer value. At that point, say, oh, maybe I haven't provided enough value. So go back, double back and say, hey, well, maybe I didn't actually show you everything you wanted to see. Did you want to see a brown one too? No, because I want a blue suit. Okay, well, we've made that decision. Which blue suit would you like? So enough blue suit stuff.
Well, but what you're talking about also is looking at each other, looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, okay, what could I have done differently to grow my own skill set? And then I think what most salespeople don't do enough of is actually study their craft. Right. And what's the do-over and what could I have done differently and how could I have done it and then actually practice it so you can, be a more effective salesperson the next time.
Right. And that's very good, John. And something I think about when I'm training someone is when you're closing, you're making a withdrawal. We have a relationship here. It's almost like a banking relationship. So if you're trying to make a withdrawal and you haven't made any deposits, there's nothing there. That's why you're not comfortable with that close. So you need to be making deposits up until you make that withdrawal of the close.
And again, just be yourself, right? Be yourself, but be yourself of somebody who has studied your skill set and grown your craft and have your voice. And as long as you're yourself, you can ask anything.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, Fish, this was a great article. I'm glad we had a chance to kind of talk about it and explore it in another avenue versus just being able to read it. But congratulations on getting published in
Arizona Lender.
There we go, Arizona Lender, and that's exciting and it's great. And here's to a great 2020 for everybody. And I'm really grateful for all the 7-Minute community and all the tons of downloads that we get. So thank you so much and continue to listen and share. And Fish, I think both of us are pleasantly surprised and happy that we got to season 13, episode 100. And it's been an absolute blast with you. So love learning from you every time we do these.
Yeah, folks, thank you for your patience. I know we teased this 100th episode for a while. And it's one of those things where we built it up, I think, for each other that it was going to be a big deal. And rather than doing so, we just got on the horn and did it.
Yeah. Amen.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Now, no excuses. It's time to put everything you listen to into action. Stop bullshitting yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Stop listening and doing nothing with this information. Take this information, implement it into your day, kick some ass, grow your business, grow your sales, make more money, have more fun, have a better life, period, the end.
What he said.